Yin stood alone on the rooftop campus railing, observing the hustle and bustle of the students below. Some rushed by, perhaps late for class, while others strolled leisurely, chatting with friends. A couple held hands, laughing together from time to time. A gentle breeze tousled her hair as she realized she had forgotten her hair tie. Suddenly, her eyes lit up with joy as she spotted the figure she had been eagerly awaiting, Professor Jungkook. Jungkook emerged from his car and walked calmly, his gaze always sharp, with a faint smile that he occasionally flashed when greeted by students. Jungkook was an idol professor on campus. Besides being handsome, he was also adept at delivering lectures. His youthful age allowed him to present material in a way that was easily understandable, avoiding the monotony that often led students to yawn repeatedly. Many students and young faculty members admired him. But Jungkook seemed elusive. He didn't seem to give any woman a chance to get close to him. Whatever the reason, perhaps he simply wasn't interested in romantic relationships. Yin herself had harbored feelings for her handsome professor for a long time. It could be said that she fell in love at first sight. Today, Yin was about to begin her freshman orientation. Unfortunately, her car suddenly broke down. She panicked as there was no nearby repair shop and no public transportation passing by. Yin felt like crying. She repeatedly checked her watch, knowing that if she didn't act quickly, she would be late. She didn't want to face punishment or embarrassment on the first day of orientation. "Anyone please, help me. I don't want to be punished and humiliated in front of other students for being late." She stood by the roadside, tears streaming down her face. Fortunately, a black car passed by and stopped in front of her. The driver got out and helped Yin check her car. Yin was extremely grateful, thanking the driver profusely. However, she foolishly forgot to ask for his name before the black car drove away, leaving her mesmerized. Upon arriving at the campus, Yin was surprised to find the man who had helped her earlier standing there, confidently welcoming the new students. Professor Jungkook. Yin would remember that name. Yin grew even more delighted to discover that Jungkook was one of the professors teaching in her class. She always sat at the front and asked questions about the material being presented, aiming to catch his attention. However, it seemed that her plan did not succeed. As the third year rolled by, her beloved professor showed no positive response at all. Despite her efforts becoming more blatant, Jungkook remained unresponsive. "Sir, please accept these. I brought some cakes for you so you won't get hungry." "I'm sorry. I can't accept them. If there's no further business, please leave." Yin left once again, feeling frustrated in her heart. Was Jungkook truly unreachable? Her reverie is interrupted by the vibration of her phone. "Hello, Mina." "Hi, Yin. Where are you?" "It's almost 8 o'clock. Professor Gyujin will be here soon. Don't be late. You wouldn't want to get kicked out of class by that killer lecturer, would you?" "I'm on the rooftop, Mina." "Yeah, I'll be there shortly." Typical. I just don't want my lifelong friend to end up in tears and have to retake the class if she causes any trouble with him. Wow, I'm really touched. Okay, I'll head to class soon. Save me a seat. But not in the front row. Yeah, you only want to sit in the front row during Professor Jungkook's lectures, I understand. You're indeed my best friend, Mina. Bye. 2 years later. Yin is now entering her third year of college. Students are required to create a research project before eventually embarking on their final assignment. 3 students will be guided by 1 lecturer. The selection of the project supervisor will be determined by the respective faculties. Mina, I hope Professor Jungkook will be my project supervisor. Yin and Mina are enjoying their lunch at a cafe near the campus. Once again, Professor Jungkook, aren't you tired of chasing him all this time, Yin? As long as I feel like I can still catch up to him, I'll keep fighting, Mina. But when I'm tired, I'll let go. You're beautiful, Yin. Look around you. There are plenty of guys approaching you. Just pick one of them. Do you think it's easy just to pick and choose? This is a matter of the heart, Mina. Alright, it's up to you. But promise me that if you feel incapable, you'll stop. Don't get sick again because of thinking about your idol professor. Got it, boss? You're such an understanding and supportive friend. Yin said with her usual quirky grin, and Mina just giggled. She actually feels sorry seeing Yin like this, but she also has to respect her decision. The announcement of the project supervisor is posted on the campus website. As Yin opens it, she shrieks with joy. Her name is listed as one of the 3 students with Jungkook as her supervisor. She feels lucky. Yin always looks beautiful and sweet during her guidance sessions with Jungkook. She can't stop smiling. Yin, did you hear what I just said? Huh? Yes, sir. What's up? I've noticed you've been smiling the whole time. Look, your 2 friends have been taking down important notes. Oh yes, sir. Sorry. Yin quickly takes out her notebook. She bows her head in embarrassment, her face turning bright red. You need to take this seriously during our sessions. I don't want my mentees to produce poor results later on. Yin just nods, not intending to speak further. Being reprimanded by her idol professor is extremely embarrassing for her. Alright, that'll be all for today's session. We'll meet again next week after you've made progress with your research. You may leave my office now. The deadline for the project completion is 8 months, and now it's already the 6th month since Yin has been supervised by her beloved professor Jeon Jungkook. Meeting frequently and having face-to-face interactions with him up close only deepens her love for him. She can't take it anymore. She has to confess her love to him and ask him to start a relationship. Yin may sound crazy, but she'll go even crazier if she doesn't do it soon. This feeling is becoming unbearable for her. Finally, Yin goes to his office. Come in. Yin entered after Jungkook invited her in. Yin, what's up? Isn't our supervision scheduled for another 2 days? I'm here not for supervision, sir, but there's something else I'd like to convey. Oh yeah? What is it? Jungkook was still busy with his work on his laptop. I like you, sir. No, I love you. Jungkook was surprised. He immediately turned to face her. He was certainly taken aback by a student boldly expressing her feelings towards him. Jungkook knew that many women approached him, from students to fellow professors, and Yin was one of them. But he pretended not to know. After all, he only considered them as friends or students with their professor. Okay, and? Jungkook tried to remain calm, but his expression was very neutral. Honestly, he was uncomfortable with her statement. I want you to be my boyfriend, sir. Yin looked straight into his eyes as if to tell him that she wasn't just casually asking. She genuinely loved him and wanted to ask him out. She's really daring to ask me out. Yin, you know you're my student and I'm your professor, right? I can't possibly date my own student. It could tarnish my reputation as a professor. People could speculate about us having a scandal. I also don't want to get fired. Besides, I only see you as my student. I really don't have any feelings for you. Yin lowered her head, hiding the tightness in her chest from her crush's rejection. But she wasn't ready to give up. We can date secretly, sir. I'm willing to have a discreet relationship if that's what you want. I truly love you, sir. This girl is really stubborn. No, Yin, that would only cause new problems later on. Let's forget about your invitation to date. I appreciate your feelings, but I don't want to be your boyfriend. With a heavy heart, Yin left Jungkook's office. She quickly headed to the rooftop to calm herself down. Her heart ached. She was hurt by his rejection. She felt suffocated. Tears couldn't be prevented from flowing. For more than 3 years, she had been harboring feelings, and today, with all the courage she had, she was disappointed by reality. Mina came after chasing her earlier. She unintentionally saw Yin leaving Jungkook's office with a flushed face holding back tears. Yin told Mina while still sobbing, making Mina hug her friend with mixed feelings. She felt sorry for Yin. Mina knew well her struggle and feelings for him. It's okay, Yin. Don't cry anymore. It's not worth crying over someone who doesn't care about you. There are still many other men who are better than him. Yin just nodded in Mina's embrace. It seemed like she had to move on from this heartbreak. Yin arrived at her apartment late at night after asking Mina to accompany her to the park to momentarily forget her sadness. Yin liked going to the park when she was feeling down. For her, seeing the neatly arranged plants and flowers improved her mood. Yin quickly cleaned herself up and climbed into bed. For some reason tonight, Yin felt her body shivering with cold. Her body was wrapped in a blanket, but the cold sensation still bothered her. She lived alone in this apartment. Her home was far from campus. It had been a long time since she felt sick like this. Was it the effect of heartache and being caught in the rain earlier in the park? Yin couldn't tolerate the rain, but earlier she deliberately stayed in the rain for a long time even though Mina urged her to take shelter. She hoped the rain could wash away some of her pain, but now she was just feeling sick. She couldn't possibly call Mina to accompany her in the middle of the night. Yin then took some fever medicine from the medicine box, hoping that her fever would subside by morning. In the morning, her condition was not much better. Her face was pale, and sweat occasionally dripped from her temples. She felt dizzy, but she insisted on going to campus because today Jungkook had a class scheduled with her. Yes, despite being heartbroken, Yin still wanted to make a good impression in Jungkook's eyes. No, more precisely, she wanted to show that she was fine despite being rejected. Your face looks pale, Yin. Are you sick? Just a slight headache, Mina. I had a fever last night, but I feel better today. Of course, Yin lied. She actually felt her head throbbing more painfully. You shouldn't go to class today, Yin. Rest in your apartment. I can't, Mina. Professor Jungkook has a class scheduled for this morning. You're so stubborn. Jungkook entered the classroom with his usual confident stride. He stood at the front of the class and scanned the room. Alright, hand in your assignments now. Yin was shocked. Assignment? What assignment? Yin tried to remember. Then she slapped her forehead as she remembered there was an assignment from Professor Jungkook that she hadn't done. Because she was sick last night, Yin went straight to bed without checking the lesson for today. She watched as her classmates took turns submitting their assignments, including Mina. Is everyone done? Anyone who hasn't completed the assignment? With fear, Yin raised her hand. I'm sorry, sir. I forgot to do the assignment. Yin spoke with her head bowed. She was truly embarrassed this time. Forgot? You underestimated my lesson, so you forgot such an important assignment? Jungkook stared sharply at her, his voice rising, making her frightened. I'm sorry, sir. Yin could only apologize. She knew she was wrong, and she wouldn't defend herself. Yin's friends looked at her sympathetically. Jungkook sighed heavily. Leave my class now. Without saying anything else, Yin left with her head down. Her head was throbbing painfully and her body felt weak. She planned to rest in the health unit. Why is her face so pale? Is she sick? Huh? Jungkook, why are you even thinking about it? Yin curled up in the health room. She really couldn't muster the strength to go back to her apartment alone. The doctor at the health unit had already given her medication and now her body felt better. Mina still had classes. She couldn't force Mina to skip lessons to accompany her. Indeed, she should just rest in her apartment. There was no need to go to campus. After teaching, Jungkook immediately checked the papers from the assignments that had been collected on his desk. Due to a lack of caution, his finger was slightly cut by the sharp paper. His hand was bleeding, although not much, but it was quite bothersome. Finally, he decided to go to the health unit to ask for a plaster. Finally, Jungkook made his way to the health room. What do you need, Professor Jungkook? I need a plaster. My finger got slightly injured. Oh, alright. Let me get it for you. While waiting, his eyes suddenly caught sight of Yin lying on the bed in the corner. Her beautiful face looked pale. Jungkook couldn't deny that Yin was one of the most beautiful students on campus. If he were to be honest, according to his personal assessment, there was no one more beautiful than her. So she's really sick? Has she taken her medicine? Maybe I was too harsh on her in class earlier. Jungkook, are you suddenly worrying about her? After receiving the plaster from the doctor, he finally left the room. He didn't intend to greet Yin. He was just afraid that after rejecting her yesterday, greeting her now would only give her false hope. After arriving at his office, he tried to continue his pending work. However, his concentration was completely shattered. He was supposed to check the students' test papers, but his mind couldn't focus. After a few minutes, he finally leaned back in his chair. He couldn't pretend not to notice what he had witnessed in the campus health unit earlier. Jungkook let out a heavy sigh. Then he got up and walked out of his office. His destination was, yes, back to the campus health room to check on Yin's condition. In a hurry, he returned to the room, only to find that the bed where Yin had been lying was now empty. Meanwhile, the doctor who witnessed his return looked slightly puzzled and curious. Sir, is there anything else I can assist you with? Oh no, it's just... What is it, sir? The female student who was on this bed earlier. Is she sick? The doctor appeared puzzled, but also curious about Jungkook's somewhat strange behavior. Oh, she had a fever earlier, but it has subsided since I gave her medication. So, feeling better, she decided to go home. Oh, I see. Well then. Without saying much more, Jungkook promptly left the health unit room, leaving the doctor looking somewhat bewildered. Jungkook sat back in his chair, finally feeling relieved, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off with him. Why am I thinking about her? Indeed, Yin wasn't the first woman to confess their feelings to him. It's just that among the students, Yin was the first to boldly confess her love. Before that, there were a few colleagues and young female professors on campus who had approached him and confessed their feelings, and Jungkook had certainly rejected them and never thought about them again. But why was he thinking about Yin this time? This situation felt different to him compared to when he rejected the love of other women. But why Yin? Why did it seem like he couldn't just brush her off?